Hello, everybody. Clyde's here with me. He wanted to come and say hi real quick before we get started.
Hi.
I will be posting a text update a little bit later, but for the sake of being able to kind of see what we have coming, I wanted to do a live broadcast update so you can get a good visual on the map of what's going on. All right, Clyde, go play. So, tonight, I'll go ahead and show you. I've got the HRRR model up just to kind of show what's going to come through the rest of the evening tonight. It's not going to be too bad, but we are going to have some storms come through. So we may have a moment of, some wind or some hail. You see around 6 p.m., chances increase right around the corner of like Dade County, Hamilton County, Marion County, even kind of close to Fort Oglethorpe. We're going to have a little possibility of storm formation around there. And then those storms are going to pick up a little bit, kind of move up through Hamilton County and over into Bradley County. But like I say, these aren't going to be too bad. We may have some momentary gusty winds and maybe a little bit of hail. And then as we kind of get into the overnight hours, things die down. We may have some showers roll through, maybe even like a rumble of thunder, but not planning on anything severe for tonight. Okay, so next, let's switch over to a more long-term model here. I want to show you what we have coming for tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is where we're really going to see that risk and chance of intense storms make their way to our area. So let's load up the NAM 3-kilometer model, and you can kind of see on this model the storms are a little bit further north tonight around the corner of Ray, Meigs, Bradley, and Hamilton County. Then moving over towards like North Bradley County and kind of making their way through. But we still see that dying out of the storms around 11 p.m. Now let's get to the nitty gritty here. So tomorrow through the day, you can see, we're going to have some showers in the area, maybe a pop-up thunderstorm. That's through 6 a.m., so that's still overnight, and some showers, but you start seeing these little specks right here. These are kind of indicative of, some pop-up storms, some isolated thunderstorms. And then this is what we're looking at. Again, you see some of these prefrontal storm possibilities right through here, along the Georgia-Alabama state line and over in Bradley, Sequatchie counties. Hold on one second. I want to pull something up on my screen here for reference. Okay. Now, as we step forward, we see more organized storm cells starting to form a line. This is where the larger hazard is going to be, further to our west. We see, more cellular setup of these storms, even though they're somewhat organized. And as they move into our area, they're going to continue to organize into more of a squall line. Now, during that time, they are going to start presenting more of a strong wind hazard, and the tornado risk is going to lessen. That being said, the three risks we are looking at for this set of storms are, strong winds. We could see the possibility of some significantly stronger winds, not just the ones bordering around that 65 mile an hour range, but maybe even pushing up to like 75 mile per hour momentary gusts off of these storms. That is going to be the most probable hazard. It's going to be I can just about guarantee that a decent amount of the area is going to see these stronger gusts. They may not reach up to 70 miles per hour, but we have a large chance of some severe thunderstorm warnings being issued. So this is around 10 p.m. Central Time. You can see up here at the top it says 11 p.m. This displays in Eastern Time Zone because that's where I'm at. But these storms start pushing in. They're already within Grundy County, making their way through. So Grundy County maybe closer to 9 p.m. Central Time. And then 10 p.m. Central Time, we're looking at them making their way into Marion County, Sequatchie County, Bledsoe County over here. We are going to be looking at tornado risk in that area as the storms make their way further across Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia. That tornado risk is going to lessen. So if you're within these central time zone counties over here, especially, or sometimes I forget to include immediately Jackson County, Alabama, and talk about it separately. So we'll go ahead and just pile Jackson County in as well. So yes, as we have more of a cellular storm formation, we're going to have that increased chance of tornadoes, and that risk is going to lessen as we go through the night and the line becomes more organized. All right, so then we see this line of storms moving pretty quickly. It's going to make its way over into Dade County and Walker County down here. We see this section kind of splitting off. We still see a little bit of storm formation down here below. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm believing around downtown Chattanooga, Rossville, Chickamauga, Trenton, these areas. Our risk is primarily going to be strong winds. But we're going to keep an eye out for a possible formation of a tornado, just to be on the safe side. The north side of Hamilton County here, we actually see a splitting of these storms again. It's kind of similar to what we saw this past Saturday night. Then up here, Ray and Meigs County, we're seeing, the storms move through quickly. It's staying pretty strong. And then by 1 a.m., these storms are going to be making their way towards the Tennessee-North Carolina line. We see Polk County, with the storm going through kind of the north side of the county. But I'd say all Polk County area should see a storm around 1 a.m. Even though I don't really cover Monroe County. Tellico Plains area will see some storminess as well. And then we have, with this slant here, we have the storms making their way through Georgia, still in the prime area that I cover for the Georgia side. Dalton down to Lyerly, Somerville, Plainville, making their way towards Calhoun around 1 a.m. And then Fairmount, White, Georgia. So I would say around 2 a.m. we should see most of these storms out of the area, maybe some lingering down here to the south. If you notice, as these storms are coming through, there's a secondary line. This secondary line is supposed to kind of break up. It's going to eat up some energy that's left over by this primary line of storms, but with it becoming more of an organized line, it's not going to leave as much for these storms. And we're also going to have the cooling overnight, so these storms will kind of break down, be a little bit smaller. But around 3 a.m. or so, we may see a couple of little spotty storms. They are not projected to be severe, but you may hear a rumble of thunder kind of startling you. So this timing is not absolutely set in stone yet. We could see the timing and the conditions and the locations change, but I wanted to kind of show you on a map how this is going to progress. We're going to keep a very close eye on these storms because they do have a decent amount of potential. The most likely time for these storms to, have more damaging conditions is going to be around 11 p.m. Eastern time, wherever they sit. It's going to be kind of the prime time between when and how they form, the atmospheric conditions, the remaining warmth from the day in the atmosphere, and just the way everything's layered. That's going to be the primary time. We do have some indications on, there are other projective things that we look at, such as hodographs and soundings. We have some matching of these storms to some pretty significant hail. Hail has been witnessed with these matching conditions around 2.75 inches in size. So I'd say we could get to 3-inch size hail, especially right here around Marion County and Bledsoe County, Sequatchie, and Grundy County. Uh, and as time goes through, those chances do weaken, but they are still present. This is going to be a system that I will have to watch overnight. I will be at work that night, and I do have a job to do, but I will do everything that I can to keep you as informed as possible as these storms make their way through. So I will get to as many questions as I can between now and then. I will also be updating with timing. I'll be updating with conditions as things change. I anticipate people probably using a couple of scare tactics to get some clicks and things like that. Do not let that scare you. I'll always work to give you the real information. Well, it was kind of short, sweet, and simple. I just wanted to give everybody a visual. Things haven't really changed a lot today as far as timing goes, so we may be set more solidly with that. But we seem to be trending towards stronger conditions as we go. So keep an eye out on the page, and especially around the featured. Oh, here, let me see how it's actually listed. I kind of get that confused at times. Yes, it's marked featured at the top of the Engle Weather Service page on Facebook. Check that, and I always have the most recent post pinned at the top of that, so that way you can see what's current and what's happening. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I know Hamilton County is getting ready to end school, so good luck to all the kids out there for their last week of school in Hamilton County and any other areas that are finishing this week. And we will talk to everybody soon. Have a wonderful night.